Good morning, everyone. I hope everyone's having a wonderful morning. I am just now finishing up my first cup of coffee. Yeah, and it's already 9:15 in the morning. I've just kind of been thinking about things and I need to go do that. Just little things, like, oh, I forgot to put that away or yeah, just my whole morning's been like that. But anyways, yeah. I hope everybody's going to have a great day today. And we're going to make something with the three things that you see behind me. Yeah, I am going to make some raspberry vinegar. So I have been looking around because I love different flavored vinegars. And yeah, I don't always like the ingredients that are in those vinegars. So I thought, you know what? It's not going to cost me any more money if I were to just make my own. So that's what I decided to do. And I hope that you will want to join me for a little bit of this day. And yeah, I'll talk to all of you in just a little while. Now this is very easy to do because all you need is about 3 cups of raspberries. It doesn't need to be exact, although I would recommend to have at least a cup and a half. Mine is probably a little less because I've been kind of snacking on a couple as I'm doing this video, right? They're good. And the other thing that I am going to use is a couple little sprigs of thyme that I picked out of my garden. And of course you're going to gently rinse your raspberries off, and that's why I have the paper towel in here, because drying them, and then your thyme. So that we're just going to set aside. The other thing you're going to need is a large enough glass container. You don't want to use metal. In fact, don't use metal, and you really shouldn't use plastic either. So this is just a half-gallon mason jar, and even the lid should not be metal. But of course, yeah, I'm going to put a canning lid on here, so I'm just going to put a piece of saran wrap over this and then put my lid on, just so that none of the vinegar touches the metal. So it can corrode the metal, and you don't want that in your vinegar, right? So yeah, it's very easy. What we're going to do first is we're just going to add 2 cups. Where did I do with that? Hold on a sec. 2 cups of white wine vinegar. Just go with your less expensive white wine vinegar. You can use regular vinegar, but this is raspberries and they have a very delicate taste. So I'm going to be using this like for salad dressings. So I chose the white wine vinegar. And we're just going to add that in the pan with a half a cup of sugar and just enough to dissolve your sugar. You do not want to bring this to a boil. So I have my half a cup of sugar, and this container happens to be 2 cups. So I'm just going to add the whole container. And I'll turn on my flame. And while this is dissolving, I want to tell you a little story. Now, you know that I purchased this new stove. And I've only actually done one of pressure canning is what I mean on the stove. And the reason why I haven't done more pressure canning, even though, yeah, I have so much stuff I need to do, is because I've been waiting for them to come out and adjust the flame. I did a pressure canning and I cannot believe, I thought I was going to blow up my house because I could not get the temperature to stay below 14 pounds of pressure. Wanted to keep going over 15. And it's all because I have propane, according to them, and propane burns hotter. And so they need to come and adjust each burner and turn it down so that the flame isn't so high, that they come from the manufacturer, adjusted for natural gas. And I'm thinking, well, they knew that it was propane. Why didn't they do it then? And so that's really, I mean, they've been very nice about the whole thing, and they're going to come out and adjust it. But I have had to wait 2 weeks for them to do that. And I did kind of Google that to see how it's done. And yeah, we could do it, but we'd have to go out and buy a tool, or Rick would have to modify one of his flathead screwdrivers to do it. And it just seemed like it wasn't worth it. But just to give you another example of how horribly hot these temperatures are, I put my pressure canner on the back burner, which is supposed to be a simmer burner. It's like this big around. And I was able to then keep my pressure canner at between 12 and 13 pounds of pressure on low on the simmer burner. Yeah, that's how hot these flames are. So then the other day, I had the bright idea of making hamburgers, right? Well, I should have known better, because I should have had Rick do it out on the grill, but it was kind of a yucky day, and so I'll just cook them up. Not a good idea. They wanted to be brown on the outside. I mean, like too crispy brown, and still be raw in the middle, because it was just, the flame's just too hot. It's ridiculous. So yeah, I love my stove, but not loving how hot the heat is on it. And like right now, what I'm doing with this is I'm putting it on this flame, and then just for like 30 seconds, and then I'm moving the pan off the flame in order to not let this get too hot, because you do not want this vinegar, this white wine vinegar, to boil. You only want to dissolve your sugar. So anyways, that's my story. And yeah, it's like I always say, life happens. I just had to really pray and ask God to have me have a good attitude about it, because little things like this, these are what aggravate me the most in life. It's like, wait a minute. It just seemed as though they knew we had propane. They had to change the fittings on the back of the stove in order to, make this even work. And so why didn't they just do it then? But that's neither here nor there, right? It's going to get done. It's just been a little inconvenience. And so what did the Lord want me to learn from all this? Maybe it's just patience. Maybe it's just that everybody's human and they just didn't think about it and wanted to get on to their next customer. I don't know. They were very nice people, so I can't really complain about that. But anyways, my sugar is dissolved, so we'll go finish this up. So now I'm just going to place my raspberries in my jar here. And let's see, what do I have? I got 3 little ones and 1 big one, I think. And I'll stick that in there. And then we will just pour this over the raspberries. And that was rather simple. I'm going to get those sprigs of thyme down into that vinegar. I don't really want them sticking up. Now, you do not have to add the thyme. It's just that thyme can really, the flavors of thyme and raspberry really works well together. And I also realized that the canning lids have a coating here, but as valuable as canning lids are, I don't even want to take that chance that something might happen and it might start to corrode. So I'm still going to put my saran wrap over this, and just better safe than sorry is where my brain is going. If I can get this on there. There we go. And we're just going to stick this somewhere where it's, you don't want sunshine going on it. So in a cupboard, or like, in a room that you don't use, that's kind of a little bit darker, that's not going to have direct sunlight on it. It doesn't need to be like in a closet, but it does need to be where there isn't direct sunshine. And we're just going to let this sit for 48 hours. So yeah, you're not going to see the end of this until next week. But hey, this is how real life time goes, right? And I'll talk to all of you in just a couple minutes. Well, what I wanted to share with you was something that I purchased also from the recommendations from our Tribe of Many channel. And that is what is called an e-cloth. And if any of you are familiar with Norwex cloths, they work wonderfully, but they're quite pricey. And these are the same concept. And so this is the cloth. It's a very good, this was called their starter pack. It was $25.02. It came with 4 of these microfiber type cloths that you're supposed to be able to just wet and then clean and not use any chemicals, not use any cleaners or anything. That this will kill all the bacteria and everything just from the cloth itself. And then it came with this one that is for windows and mirrors, that is supposed to go to a perfect shine. Now, I've used these. These are unbelievable. In fact, I have one at my kitchen sink now that I'm using. Actually, I'm using it with my dish soap, just because the cloth itself, there's no scrubbing. I was just really surprised on how easy it was to just wash everything with the cloth. But yes, they work wonderfully on your counters and on your walls. And I've used it on my wood doors because, right around the doorknob area, it gets kind of icky looking, especially at our laundry room / mudroom door. That doorknob area gets really bad. And hey, it works just water. It's very nice. I have not tried this on a window or a mirror, but let me tell you, I've used it on my glasses and it's wonderful. So yeah, I've just been really happy with it. I just wanted to share that with you because I've used, you pick up those cheap, inexpensive dishcloths at Walmart or wherever, and even though they might look nice at the time, they start looking really awful after a while, but they're just a cloth. They really don't do anything special. These really did help clean my dishes just a lot easier, and it's a more substantial cloth, so I don't know how to explain it except for that it really did make my life easier, and I just wanted to share that with you because I don't often come and share with you things in that way unless they really work the way it says it will work. So yeah, just got that off of Amazon, and I will try to remember to put that in my Amazon store link below. And yeah, I was just really pleased, so I wanted to share that with you. And anyways, yeah, it is a cold and kind of gloomy day, but it must be, I don't know, it's just, I don't even know how to explain it out there. It's just awful. And we've had such wonderful weather, and then suddenly it went right downhill, and now I have a sweatshirt on. So but it's all good, isn't it? Because we need to remember in these times that God is in control and we can trust Him, that everything is going according to His plan and for His purpose, and best of all, for His glory. So let's stand on the Word of God and on the truths that He has set before us and trust Him that, even though this world maybe, at least it appears like it's falling apart, God's holding it all together. And He's going to hold your life and my life together too. Even though some of our circumstances might seem horrible, He's still holding it together. So God bless, and I'll talk to all of you in just a little while. We are reading in Matthew chapter 13, verses 51 and 52 on the parable of treasures new and old. Have you understood all these things? They said to him, yes. And Jesus said to them, therefore, every scribe who has become a disciple of the kingdom of heaven is like a head of a household who brings out his treasure, things new and old. Before Jesus' final kingdom parable, Jesus asks his disciples if they understood all that he has said, and they answer yes, which seems like a bit of a stretch. However, even though their comprehension is not mature, it's not altogether absent either. One commentator explained that their yes did not actually mean that they understood all that Jesus was teaching, only that they believed all that they did understand and were prepared to act on it. After all, as believers, we see truth through a glass darkly, and our knowledge will not truly be completely mature, that is, until we are with Christ in glory. Now, today's final parable of the kingdom tells us that those who have been trained for the kingdom are able to bring forth treasures both new and old. You see, today's verses looks at the Old Testament's role in the New Covenant era. Only those trained for the kingdom, only those who have taken upon themselves the yoke of Christ, are able to bring forth new treasures along with the old. The special revelation of Jesus allows his people to see the Old Testament kingdom truths that have been there since the foundation of the world, but which have largely gone unnoticed. These truths are the key to the right understanding of Scripture, but they are not in opposition to the old truths, as evident from the parables of Jesus. The commentary in my own personal Bible says about this verse that the disciples are not to spurn the old for the sake of the new. Rather, they are to understand the new insights gleaned from Jesus's parables in light of the old truths, and vice versa. In other words, discipleship precedes or comes before understanding. The new things taught by Jesus are loyal to the intent and purpose of the Old Testament. Now, another commentator explained it like this: the Old Covenant is not abolished, it is judiciously integrated into the new. Nevertheless, apart from becoming a disciple of Jesus, we cannot see these precious truths. We believe in order to understand, and so we must make sure we are following the way of Christ if we want to understand his teachings. Remember, life happens, and the Bible is such a wonderful treasure. Many have died protecting it. Others have been martyred, making sure it is translated into the everyday language for everyday people. But for the Bible to be properly understood, the key to this storehouse of knowledge is Jesus. He is the yes to every promise that God has made. He is the most complete and the greatest Word of God. Because we know him and listen to his voice and let him help us understand what God has said and meant, we can know the great secrets of God's plan. But this great promise and gift are ours only on one condition: that we are willing not only to study and to learn the truth, but that we are also willing to put it into effect in our daily lives. Truth becomes real when we live it. God's grace becomes gracious to us only when we obey him and live in that grace. So let's enter the storehouse using God's key to receive the great riches of his kingdom. God bless. I hope this has blessed your heart. And yes, have a great weekend. Please give this a thumbs up. Please be sure to give comments. That's how I get to know each and every one of you. Even if it's just a hello. If you have a question about this particular devotion, just ask it in the comments below. I'll be glad to answer, at least in the knowledge that I have. And hey, I can always ask my husband too, right? So anyways, have a great weekend, and I will talk to you again on Tuesday.